programs, make sure you do so. You'll see a sponsor around town. Tell them thanks so much for what they do for this tournament. Little thanks goes a long way.
The deal with the 300 game is the first person to bowl a 300. The chances of two bowling it are remote, but it helps to be in the first match. We'd like some noise if that starts to occur. It's a 2021 Buick Encore, retail value over $20,000 from Kia Buick CMC, and all the local bowlers, if you go down to the dealership, speak to Tenpins, the general manager, negotiate the best price you can get, and then they'll give you an extra $500 off whatever that price is if you need a new car. And one of these four, another who live in New Mexico, might be driving that. Okay, thank you.
I'm just going to do a quick check with the people just to make sure all sounds good.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the New Mexico Open 17th edition. Tenpins More, Rio Rancho, New Mexico. My name is Emil Williams Jr. And momentarily we'll be joined by Steve Mackie and Jim Tillery. It's the finals, folks, stepladder finals. We've got 4 participants. The number 4 seed is Dylan Taylor. The number 3 seed is Matt Zweig. The number 2 seed is Cortez Shank. And the number 1 seed is Francois Lavoie, 2-time U.S. Open champion. It is true double elimination, and the point of Francois will have to lose twice to lose the tournament. Just wanted to hop in early, make sure we sounded good, audio sounds fine. Please let us know. I'll welcome in.
Looks like we're ready to go for the stepladder finals right here. We got 4 great bowlers. And the first match between Dylan Taylor and Matt Zweig. Looks like Dylan's going to start on the left lane. They've had
Zweig, by the way, but everyone says Zweig.
Matt just corrected me and said it's Zweig. That's important to know. Thank you, Matt. Both bowlers just had 5 minutes of practice on the fresh oil, and now they'll be starting on a fresh pattern. So it'll be interesting to see where Dylan starts playing here. He's been playing the gutter all week. Looks like he's going to move inside and try to start where he finished earlier.
First shot of the stepladder finals. And Mr. Dylan crosses over. What do you think, a little nerves?
Runaway Brooklyn in there. He's still trying to shake off the nerves.
I was just right.
A little excited, as he should be. Just a reminder, this match right here, the winner of the match advances on to play Cortez Shank, and the loser will make $2,000. Also a shout out to the bowlers out here. If anybody shoots a perfect 300 game in the stepladder finals, they're going to win a brand new car, a Buick Encore.
That's right, courtesy of Petrie, Buick, GMC, and Kia, as Dylan Taylor with a spare. So this is Matthew Zweig from graduated from Arizona State in 2018.
Yes, sir. He wanted us to send a shout out to all his former teammates and his coach out there.
Shout out to Jordan Asberg.
That's exactly right. Looks like he's going to start inside on the pattern as well.
He'll take some time.
False start. A lot of excitement going on right now, a lot of nervous energy.
And that's important. You want to get out to the best start you can. The warm-up pair is just a pair or 2 pairs to the left. So we got a photographer. The photographer is not down lane, which is different for most stepladder finals.
Absolutely. Well, that's pretty good shot right there, Emil. A good part, good shot from Matt. Matt Zweig from the Phoenix area. Matt wanted to say hi to his mom and family in Phoenix area and his dad who's out on the East Coast. I want to let him know that he's happy to be here and happy they're watching.
Zweig's family, of course, his sister Leah also bowled at Arizona State.
Oh, really? Wow.
Absolutely.
Ooh, that fresh oil, that ball just skids through the heads and got a little bit right and just didn't make it back.
2-4-10 for Zweig, and if anyone's got more compliments, except for obviously Dylan, who seems like that kind of sentimental favorite at this point, but everyone has talked about how well Matt has thrown the bowling ball the last couple, especially today.
Well, and he's playing a tough angle. He's doing it with, got 7-2 there, stuck on the approach a little. He's been deep most of the day over by the left gutter, going left to right, a lot of loft, and making spares. And, he's survived some matches that way. And in this format, that's what you have to do. So we got Dylan Taylor up in the second frame working on a spare. And again, he looks like he's moved inside, kind of where he finished earlier. Dead flush. Dead flush. Strike for Dylan on the second. That was a quality shot right there, Emil. And as you could hear by all the clapping in the background, we got probably 1,000 people here in the building right now. And he is the sentimental favorite in this group.
Yeah, I asked him the first, I forgot what day, or I'm sorry, not what day, what squad he qualified on, but obviously when he takes a shot, first thing you notice is the unorthodox
the style. Absolutely.
So I asked him about it today, and he said, he started bowling at, or at least he really started working on about 18, but kind of self-taught, but he perfected it, obviously, and it doesn't matter in this sport,
right,
as long as you can repeat it.
Exactly. Here's a shot in the third going on a strike. Oh, big double.
Good shot.
Yeah. You notice how straight he's playing. That's a big deal. And he's still trying to shake out the nerves, but those last two shots were great shots for him.
All right, here is Zweig.
Ooh, that's a great shot by Matt right there. She leaves a ring in 10, but that was a quality shot on his part. Going back to, Emil, what you were saying earlier about Dylan and his style, I had a chance to watch him. He bowled Saturday, bowled yesterday in one of the morning squads. And Dennis Helmick and I were standing back here watching, and I said, whoa, that was different style. And then we start watching the ball, and I said, you know what? He's consistent in what he does. It's a good spare from Matt right there on the 10-pin.
To a point, too, he was almost talking about, I think you mentioned it earlier, like as if he didn't belong necessarily. But obviously, you don't get to this point without belonging.
Well, a lot of people would look at him and say, no, he doesn't belong. That game's not that great. But you know what? That game is great. It's perfected very, very well. And he can play up the boards with urethane, with resin. We watched earlier him get in with resin and loop it a little bit, even as straight as he plays. And the guy is a wonderful spare shooter. And on a tough condition like this, that's important. There goes Matt.
He's moved in a little bit.
Tomahawk that 4-pin from the backside.
For Zweig,
it's a good shot on Matt's part right there.
His claim to fame thus far, and I'm just talking about this week, the most notable thing, obviously outside of making the stepladder finals, was shooting 135 on this very pair during qualifying in game 2. Moved to 5 and 6, switched balls, jumped left, 226, 241, and that propelled him to the top 32.
There have been a lot of games under 150 here this week out of a lot of real quality players. Pair to pair was tough. Here goes Dylan in the 4th frame. Dead strike. That puts spare turkey on the board for Dylan. Turkey up, getting ready to shoot in the 5th frame. That might calm him down a little, and it might get that adrenaline flowing more. You just never know. It could work both ways.
Folks, just a quick timeout to thank the sponsors here of the New Mexico Open. Again, Petrie, Buick, GMC, and Kia. We talked about the car, the Buick Encore. If you shoot 300 this game, or any bowler, the first bowler, I should say, to shoot 300 in the championship round, will receive a 2021 Buick Encore, again, courtesy of Petrie, Buick, and GMC, and Kia, for that matter.
This is Dylan in the fifth. Oh, not bad. He got a little bit right, and he just, not enough revolutions to get that ball to recover, but again, a makeable spare on a 2-5, and he stayed out of the split trouble, and again, doing what he does, keeping the ball in play and making spares.
It's interesting to watch him again, but he can play the gutter so well. That's what really made me focus in, not just the style, but he was able to command the urethane and play up the boards with that. Not a lot of reps, which I think really helped in some situations for him. And then we watched him, during some of these matches earlier today, make the jump left, but still be able to keep his angle so straight as he makes the spare here.
Yeah, as you can hear from the crowd applause, he did cover that 2-5. So he's got spare turkey spare through 5. And Matt Zweig is working on a double. He's got a single right now. He kind of needs this to stay in this match. I don't think Dylan's going to do anything too crazy. Matt's going to have to just take advantage of what he has here. Ooh. Quality shot just leaves that half 10. Emil, this is interesting. These guys have been bowling on stuff that's getting drier and drier up until the TV show when they reran the TV pair. And so now you got fresh oil again. It's still a little in the transition period here. Good cover by Matt.
The number 3 seed, or excuse me, the number 2 seed is Cortez Shank, and Cortez looked like he was going to be nowhere near the top 32 after the first 4 games yesterday. Made some moves, went to the high end, went plus 142 for the back 4 to get to plus 43 overall.
I looked at the sheet last night after 4 games for Cortez, and he was 100 under, and he ended up 40-some over. And I thought, wow. Well, I saw Matt shooting in the 6th frame. Coming up light, got the 8-pin out, but he leaves that pesky 210. Ball just scoots through the heads a little bit. You hear Cortez and Francois warming up after the practice pair. Good effort on Matt's part. Unfortunately, an open frame in the 6th. Gives him 95 in the 6th frame. Emil, he's in a little bit of trouble here. If Dylan continues at the pace he's going, it's going to be tough for Matt to come back. He's going to have to string some strikes.
I think we watched Matt play kind of almost every part of the lane within the last couple of days. I think he had the most success when he was able to get left and get inside. The fresh obviously just can be tricky. And in a 1-game match, sometimes you don't know.
Ooh, kind of a light shaker 7 there left by Dylan. You're right, Emil. Go back on that. I was watching Matt and Dylan warm up the 5 minutes of practice on fresh oil, and both of them tried the gutter. Both of them tried around that first arrow, kind of down and in, and nothing real consistent there. And so both of them jumped left right before we came on the air. And so now they're still trying to figure it out inside. Here we are halfway through the first game and still trying to find the line.
Folks, we appreciate you joining us here, BowlStreamTV New Mexico Open. If you could kindly share this broadcast, post it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We
Good
appreciate
cover
you.
on Dylan's part right there in the 6th frame. So Dylan's got 117 through 5 with a spare up in the 6th. kind of a significant lead there. He's got a 32-pin lead. With a spare up, it's potentially more. You know, it's kind of interesting to watch Dylan start. You know, for those of you that are seeing him, he starts off kind of facing to the right. You know, he's got the ball down to his side, off to the right, and then he kind of squares up, and everything comes together right at the end, right at the right space. Another light shaker 7, kind of like the last one. Out of trouble, though. You know what, Emil, it kind of reminds me, I used to bowl against Ron Williams out of the Southwest. Remember Ron? Had a little bit of the chicken wing at the start, but boy, everything came together about halfway through the approach and the release, and it was great. But, you know, Dylan's got a little bit of that unorthodox style, and he sure comes together at the release just right. Very solid on spares.
You say that.
Very solid.
Best part about his game, when you have someone who can hit the 1-3 and make a spare, that's hard to beat no matter who they're bowling against.
A good spare shooter like that is consistent and keeps the ball in play is going to be tough to beat on this condition every single time. So now Matt's going to be shooting in the 7th frame, and he's almost at a must-strike time here in this game. It's getting late.
Matt needs to definitely find something here, and it looks like he has moved left. I think this is where he's most comfortable and feels like he can get something going in that situation. That's got to hook a lot, though.
Oh. Looks like he moved left and threw right. That's usually one of my reactions right there. But got a good break, left the 1-2-5, 7 count. Needs to make the spare and then string some strikes here.
The one thing I noticed, and I wasn't sure if it was more offense, defense, but there was a match, elimination match against Robert Marion where he threw some surface outside of 5. And I'm not sure if he did that in practice. I didn't get a chance to see, to try to give himself a little bit of area if he could.
Yeah, he's in trouble here, Emil. He's got 104 in the 7th, and he's still trying to find it, still struggling. Now, for those of you that are noticing that these players all have new shirts on from earlier in the broadcast, these are TV show shirts provided by Charles V. Hill. Whoa. Matt got a little wild in turn 3 right there, and that gray board doesn't hook. So Charles V. Hill, and his email address is vhillbilly.com. That's VIGILBILLY.com. So shirts provided by Charles V. Hill. And all 4 players have a different color on today. Good spare right there by Matt. Kind of lost, but you know, that spare keeps him mentally in the game.
You know, just from a pure confidence perspective, Jim, that's so huge. You know, obviously, you never know in bowling. You don't anticipate Dylan giving Matt an opportunity, but you know, it could have easily gone the other way.
I agree. Wow, Dylan was a little unsure about that shot when he let it go. He grabbed his head as soon as he let it go, and he got a great break there. Hit it where he needed to. But he's working on his shoes a little bit here. So he struck in the 8th. Gives him 156 in the 7th with a strike up. This match is basically over. He just stays behind the foul line. You know, Dylan, I was talking to between the break here, and he wants to send a shout out to Mike and Brandy Calderon, who drill his bowling balls as well as Cortez Shank's bowling balls there in the Phoenix area. And both those guys said that Mike and Brandy have taken care of them with bowling and bowling balls, and they certainly appreciate that. So.
B3 Performance. Be sure to check them out.
A little bit of a pesky spare here on the 310, but you know, I'd rather shoot the 310 when you have a 40-pin lead than when you're in a tight game. Good cover by Dylan right there. Spare up in the 9th, 176 in the 8th with a spare up. This match is virtually over.
I think I heard him say when he, speaking of Dylan coming up to the concourse here, that he may have stuck a little bit on that first shot, as you mentioned.
Matt's just trying to finish up here. It's been a long day. It's a good weekend of bowling for him, but he's just trying to get out of the way now.
I've seen Matt bowl before. He had some highlights at the Masters. To me, you know, I never got a chance to really just focus and watch him bowl. I've seen him here and there. Man, he can throw it. Very versatile.
Very versatile. I watched him a couple different times this week, and you know, early in the day yesterday, I watched him play out with a lot of revs, and I thought, wow, that's a pretty good reaction. Came back later in the day, and I was watching him on 1 and 2, and he was standing over there in the left, past the left gutter, lofting it over the left edge of the gutter cap and swinging the ball from about 23 or 4 out to about 15, and I was just amazed. So. He's just trying to finish up right here.
Sometimes in a stepladder situation, Jim, one-game matches, you know, obviously it can be tough to get comfortable quickly. Whoever can do it the fastest generally will have the momentum and get some good rhythm going, and unfortunately that didn't happen for Matt here.
Well, and you know, some of that is, you know, Dylan playing straight. You know, playing straight, you don't cover as many boards. That is a benefit, especially maybe on fresh oil. They've had to wait, you know, 10, 15 minutes before the lane machine was finished. And starting over fresh, you know, I think straighter, they always say straighter's greater on a tougher condition, and right now I think you're kind of seeing that. But that still doesn't take away from Matt's bowling this week. You know, he had a great weekend. 4th place finish, shoots 161 here in the final. And Matthew Zweig is going to make a $2,000 bill. You know,
I'll take it.
I don't mind shooting 161 if I'm making a $2,000 bill. I'd shoot that every time. Dylan's finishing up in the 10th. He strikes on the first ball.
Now, Jim, we've talked to you throughout this weekend, and I know you've coached, especially at the high school level. So take me through, put your coaching hat on. If you're coaching Dylan, we've seen him throw this ball, but when he's throwing it, generally speaking, he's moved in, but continue to keep his angle straight. So what do you think he's looking for in preparation for Cortez Shank, who you would expect to throw a few more strikes based on what we've seen from him today?
Well, I did. I coached at Cleveland High School here for a long time in bowling and golf, and we had a lot of success with a lot of really good kids. But, you know, relating that to Dylan's situation, he just won a game shooting 216. He won by 50 pins. So I don't expect him to change a whole lot right now with Cortez and Frankie coming over, you know, off the practice pair. I think he's got as good a shot as anybody staying with what he's got. Now, I did notice on the second ball right there, he changed to a dull ball just to see if he could create a little bit more angle, a little bit more room. But I honestly think he's going to go back and do exactly what he did right there with Matt. And I don't think there's any reason for him to change. You know, 216 on what's out there is a great game.
All right, so match 1 is complete. Again, congratulations to Dylan Taylor. He will move on to face Cortez Shank. And now the man who is doing literally keeping score, signing checks, and doing 800 other things. Let's welcome in Steve Mackie to get his quick thoughts here. Steve, you watched the first match. Well, you were up and down watching, but your thoughts on the first match here?
Dylan dominated early. The Dominator, Dylan the Dominator, new nickname for him. That was a pretty solid game. 216 could have been more. And his first step ladder in his career, and won't be the last based on that. Let's see. Poor old Matt Zweig had a game plan that never worked out. 2 splits, a missed spare, a guttable spare. His mind disappeared after about the second frame, in my opinion.
And Steve-O, just a quick update there. Matt came by and let me know he pronounced his last name Zweig. So instead of Zweig, it's Zweig.
Well,
Just food for thought when you're getting ready to hand him that $2,000 check. Make sure it's Zweig.
okay. Yeah. I think he's only concerned about the money
The
amount
money,
on it.
I got a feeling. Now his mama's going to call in and she's going to get on your case, so you better get it right.
Well, that's all right.
And Mrs. Zweig has been watching.
She has been.
Yes, his entire family actually has been watching, and we appreciate them. All right, we watched Cortez get some practice shots in. Already looks like he's going to be in that fourth arrow, which is away from Dylan, but Cortez trying to get to his A game and get comfortable quickly, I think.
Yeah, I think so. You know, Cortez has been off to the practice pair, trying a couple different bowling balls, a couple different angles. You know, coming on the TV pair, it's only got one match on it now, besides the 5 minutes of practice. So, you know, I think he's going to be okay. It looks like he's got a little bit of a resin ball with a little bit of surface on it here, and he's going to be in there deep, probably about 20 or so, going away with it. But that's pretty close. You know, he's going to have a pretty good reaction. You know, Dylan's got Cortez and Frankie, and I got a feeling both those guys are going to be deep. Dylan might be right over there all by himself the rest of the night.
Well, you know, Cortez may force Francois to have to be there.
Absolutely.
Because he's going to start there. So,
And I'll tell you, it's not inconceivable that Dylan, with his game, as simple as it is, making spares, playing down and in, could beat both these guys. You know, if they don't get lined up any faster than Matt got lined up, they're both going to have a tough time catching Dylan.
Yeah, and it took Matt 11 frames to get lined up. He got a good strike on the fill, and that was about it. Opened aggressively. That split in the second frame just put him off the charts mentally. A couple more shots for Cortez Shank, and then Dylan will enter from stage left and take on his Arizona counterpart. Arizona doing well in this tournament. A lot of folks came up from Tucson, 17 or 18 bowlers came in from Tucson, courtesy of Tom Foster. And now these two practice and work at the B3 Performance Center in.
Let me ask you this, mate.
Phoenix.
Just a reminder on Cortez. You know, I used to watch him as a high school coach when he was coming up as a junior bowler out of Arizona. He made more money in the Junior Bowlers Tour than any other bowler in the history. Is that correct? Something like $55,000 in scholarships?
Yes, 55,000. He could become a brain surgeon with that scholarship help.
Holy cow. And I do think he spent a semester at Wichita State, if I'm not
Yes.
not mistaken. So it looks like we got Cortez Shank, who's the 2 seed, against Dylan Taylor, who just won the last match. And it looks like Dylan is going to be given the honors to start this match as well on the left lane. At this point, somebody's going to have to beat Dylan Taylor because he's not going to beat himself.
Well, I hope someone starts with a string of strikes. There's that.
You want to give away a new car, don't you?
It's not my money, so I'd love to give it away.
first shot for Dylan,
It won't be Dylan.
3-6. And quickly, you could just tell it's like, all right, let's just get that first shot out the way, and then I can kind of get back and ease myself into the match.
You did notice that he went back to that black and purple bowling ball he finished the last match with. Even though he was using that lime-colored bowling ball in practice, he went right back to the one he finished the last match with. And so he leaves it at 3-6.
This will be straight and fast.
Woo! Boys, I'll tell you, that was a little hairy right there.
Wiping the dust off there.
Yeah, phew. So he's on the board unscathed, but it was a little closer than I think he wanted and I wanted. So here's Cortez shooting in the second frame. I mean, first frame, his first shot.
No 300s
Wow.
in this match.
No car this match, mate. P3 safe.
Only 1 or 2 matches to go.
Well,
Incidentally, if Lavoie, the top seed, loses the first match, it's 1 extra game because that'll be his first loss in this bracket play.
yes.
If he would like to finish it off quickly.
And he's got to lose twice, you know. Spare on the board for Cortez in the first, so both bowlers are on a spare.
Interestingly, he took his time on that spare, didn't throw it at 100 miles an hour.
Yes, I
You know,
noticed that.
I never learnt that when I was bowling. The object was to make the spare, not to throw the case off the ball. So,
Not to break it through the pin setter back there, or the
yeah,
pit.
not to go through the
So-
back of the building.
So Cortez is playing deep. We're sitting here right behind him, and he's standing about 40 right now over by the left gutter. And he's going from probably, wow, 24, 25 out to 10. That's a big swing, but ball with a lot of surface, a dead flush. It's a good shot on his part. So he's in for 20 in the first. Dylan will be shooting in the second frame here. You know, I was talking earlier, Steve and Emil, that Cortez, as well as Dylan, both get their bowling balls drilled from Mike and Brandy Calderon in the Phoenix area. And they spend a lot of time in the pro shop together, but these two guys have never bowled each other in a match before.
Huh.
And this is their first time they've gotten a chance to bowl against each other.
Wow.
Through the nose, good break. Stays unscathed there. Here's a 6-10.
Brandy Calderon is the sister of Brett Wolfe, and bowled here the first 2 or 3 years that we had the tournament. One of the few out-of-state bowlers that came into town. She's got a heck of a game, and Mike too.
They both do. And Brandy actually, for a couple years, was chasing the PWBA Tour a lot as well. And Mike was a PWBA Tour ball rep also.
Gotcha. So a clean spare for Dylan. That one's a lot more solid right there, mate. It wasn't as hairy as that 3-6 was in the first frame. So he's on the board with 18 in the first with a spare up. He'll be shooting in the third frame. Now, he's gone heavy the first 2 shots. It'll be interesting to see if he moves a little bit left, a little bit deeper with his feet maybe. We'll have to see.
Let's take a quick look at the check and trophy.
Places up a little bit as well. It's 5,500. We increased prize fund today by over $7,000 from the advertised list. Better hurry.
You know what? He did get a little bit deeper and swung it just a hair and came back and left a flat 10, but that was a pretty quality shot right there from Dylan.
Yeah, a little bit deeper and hopefully for him not deeper in debt.
He's getting ready to make some money, so I think he'll be just fine, mate.
Yeah, 3,000 to the loser of this match, and the winner goes on for 5,500 second and 11,000 for first place, plus that beautiful New Mexico State trophy, provided by our
No
folks,
problem with the 10-pin.
provided by our folks at That Trophy Shop, and that's here in Rio Rancho. They've provided our trophies. They've done replicas slightly smaller than the Champions Trophy for the 3 Pro-Am winners. We had over 150 entries in that this year and paid out 3,600 in the Pro-Am as well. Back with Cortez now, looking for a double.
Shooting in the third frame. Wow, big belly. Wow. Wow, a lot of loop and a lot of recovery.
And we were talking, or Steve and I were on, and Steve was mentioning or talking about his rev rate.
Yeah.
And reached out to, well, I didn't reach out, but I did say, hey, I want to know the specs on what Cortez is throwing, what his axis tilt rotation. And of course, Mike sent the stuff in the chat. The only thing I'm like, Mike, you got to tell me what all of that means, bro. I know the terms, but I can't put it together.
Yeah.
You couldn't see 2 different, more drastic styles in this match right here, that's for sure. Wow. A little bit wider than the last 2 and just didn't quite make it back, left a 2-pin. Broke up the 210 though, so he's got to make up a
the
spare.
210, he made it a single pin instead of the 2-4, which is choppable, particularly with his speed on the spare ball. That might be our new logo for the New Mexico Open. What Charles Vigil has done there.
Look out.
Boys, we saw that from the get-go about the 3rd or 4th step. He kind of got sideways there and opened up and just lost that straight ball right.
And you know, when you bowl straight in front of the pin, if you're out of timing by a squillionth of a second.
It makes a difference,
can
absolutely.
Wave it goodbye.
And sometimes you try to throw it a little hard and you open up and you just don't get it on line.
Yeah. Well, he can tie it all up here with a strike spare.
You know, Cortez being on that double, that's a big open. He opens the door right back up for Dylan.
That should ease the nerves just a little bit, if there were any. But let's see Dylan's shot here.
Wow. Dylan took square advantage of that missed two pin, didn't he? He said, I better quit messing around here. I better get going.
Yeah, quit messing around, get after it. All he can do is what he can do.
That's right.
He's got no control over what Cortez does, how many boards he crosses, he could care less.
That's a great point. I mean, you don't have to be seasoned to take advantage of an opportunity to know that you have to take advantage.
Right.
I think Dylan knows that what Cortez is about. Obviously, they haven't bowled against each other, but they bowl together often as well.
Very familiar with each other. That's what it sounds like to me. And, you know, Cortez coming off that double right there. Dylan said, hey, got him off the double and didn't get the open.
I think he's going a little left on the approach.
He's a little deeper. That's oh, mate. You know what my buddies say on that one? Instead of Brooklyn, that's closer to Buffalo.
Yeah.
But I don't think Dylan cares right now. He's going to take that just fine.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean,
It counts the same on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it looks like a 2-10 in the pits right there.
I think
we know better.
11 Ks on the line, right?
That's exactly right. I take whatever I can get for 11K. Wow. I don't know, boys. I'll tell you, I've dreamt about throwing a ball like that before, but it's never happened. I've taken a 6-pound ball with just the fingers, and I can rev it from gutter to gutter, but usually it ends up in the left gutter.
Well, for those who don't know Cortez's resume, and this is just a small chunk of it, but he is a 6-time Junior Team USA member, 1-time Team USA member at this spot, and also won the U.S. Amateur Championship in 2018. That's just a smidget. That's just the Team USA part.
Wow. Holy moly.
Almost insolent of that 10-pin to dare standing after a shot like that at it.
What a reaction. I'm sitting here directly behind him, and I'm watching that from coast to coast. And my original thought is when he let it go, I said, oh, that's going to be 2-pin again. And that ball recovered and went pretty dang flush. Left that ring in 10. That's just impressive.
And a ringing 10 because of the new pins. The old pin with the
Those round,
softer base would have probably gone.
Those round bottom pins you've been using, those carried everything. These are the new flat bottom ones.
Goodness.
He covered the spare, but you notice that, mate, he got a little bit open on that one and almost lost that one to the right as well.
Yeah, he looked a bit like that ballet dancer Rudolph Naraiv at the release.
Emil,
I've learned so much from Steve Mackie, this weekend.
Yeah, names of people you never knew.
I mean, but he forces you to research. Like, I'm now going to go home and Google these people.
I'm going through my Google search right here trying to spell that name.
One of the best Russian ballet dancers of all time.
I've heard of Baryshnikov, mate, but that's...
All right, back to Dylan.
So Dylan shooting in the 6th frame.
Oh,
wow.
Oh,
Talk about capitalizing on a Brooklyn. That's huge right there for a turkey.
And
that's huge.
Up by 10 in the 4th frame, but up by 20 now in the 5th frame, courtesy of that strike in the 6th. And Shank, 9 miss, 9 spare, 2-pin and out, and pretty good 10-pin in the 6th frame. This match is getting away from him if he doesn't be careful.
Dylan taking a little extra time here, trying to settle his nerves down. You can see him taking some deep sighs. At this point, the heart's beating through the chest right now, out the shirt. So just got to breathe and relax. Uh-oh, told it again. Oh.
Trouble and trouble.
Oh, it's certainly not what he wanted, but...
Okay, now if I was coaching him, I'd say, okay, move about 3 1/4 to the right and throw exactly the same ball and see what you can do.
Mate, I have to tell you, I left this one earlier in qualifying this week, and I made it.
How far
with a
did you
straight
move
ball.
right?
Well,
Did you move right or?
yeah, I basically lost the ball on the strike shot just like that and went runaway Brooklyn, left at 5-10.
I think it was down
And,
here too.
yeah, and I
it was on
moved.
TV.
Oh, great.
I probably announced it.
Did you give me some credit for making it at least?
I gave you credit for the spare.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see what Dylan does here.
Oh.
It's close, mate. That's close.
Oh. Well,
Gave it a run. Gave it a run.
okay. Well, that brings this match back to less than a mark. The difference.
Yeah.
143 now.
Well, gave
Dylan
Cortez
Taylor.
a little bit of life, but he's got to do his part. He's got to take advantage of this now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect anything less than 10 back.
I wouldn't
Here.
either. He's been
Well,
pretty
he's-
lined up on this lane.
He's had 2 for the last 2 here.
That's pretty close, boys. Uh-oh. Oh.
And now 2 for
Those
4.
flat bottom pins of yours, mate. Those 3 nines.
Yeah.
I think you saved those just for this tournament, didn't you?
Got them in about a week and a half ago.
I believe it.
I called AMF. They said we're on a wait list. I said I need them for the New Mexico Open, and they've been a minor sponsor of our event for years. And of course, I know the guy from AMF. Been there forever. And Wayne
to
said,
everyone.
"I'll get them for you," and he did.
It's good. Good cover on Cortez's part there. Picking up the
7
10
pins the difference with a strike for Cortez. More if he doesn't get one. This is going to come down to the last couple of shots.
Mention court.
Wow.
What do you think?
Getting a little close here, boys.
Oh, okay, okay.
Getting close. My heart's beating faster. I know that, and I'm not even bowling.
Big shot here for Cortez.
Sweet.
Wow. That's pretty good effort right there.
At the release, I could tell you that that was going to be a
Yeah.
strike for
He
forever.
posted that one up pretty well. So we got a 7-pin game.
Yeah.
We got 143 to 136, 7 frame. And Dylan's shooting in the 8th. Now this is where the heart beats fast and the knees get a little weak and the palms start getting sweaty. You've got to control some of those.
Sounds like an old episode of the Golden Girls.
Only you would know
I
that, mate.
remember that
Only you
one.
would know that.
Well, I watched the show.
Well, you know, they were around since the 60s. It's okay.
I heard it was popular. Dylan
A
will.
little bit of noise in the crowd back here.
Yep, he took a step up and
Yeah.
said, "All right, let's wait it out."
That's rerouting. Let's recalculate.
Of course, winner moves on to face Francois Lavoie, the #1 seed, who has to be defeated twice to lose the tournament. 8th frame.
Looks pretty good.
Bang.
Wow. Boys, it doesn't get any better than that. That's pretty salty. That's a loft out on the lane right to the target.
Yeah,
It was
that
10 in the
is-
pit.
That is salty.
That is stepping up right there.
Yeah.
Now, both guys have a chance at a double. You know, they both have a strike up in the 8th, 7-pin game. Dylan gets the first shot at a double right here, and this is a big shot. You know, the ebbs and flows could change right here with
Yeah,
one
big-
of these 2 shots.
Big shot for a big guy. Let's see what he can do with this one. This is exciting stuff. If I'd been writing the script, this is about how it'd be panning out right now.
Well, if Dylan strikes here, important because he cannot then be shut out as well.
He may be thinking of that, although I doubt it. He just wants one good shot here. 10 in the pit or a light mixer. That's going to be 10 in the pit.
Wow.
What a ball.
Boys, I've seen some triggers pulled, but that one right there was on a string.
Yeah, that was
Lofted it right out to the target, and the ball broke a few boards and just hit 10 in the pit. That was as good as it
a
gets.
really good shot.
Now it kind of puts the pressure right back on Cortez. Now
Yeah.
he needs to strike. He's shooting in the 9th frame. This is almost a must strike, Emil.
It is.
Max score 60-90-26 for Shank.
Cold 9.
Wow.
Goodness gracious me.
Wow, you could hear by the lull in the crowd right there how deep that was. That was like one of Dennis Brown's shots right there. Mine would have deflected around the 9. Dennis's goes through in the 9.
That's an 8 pins, 9 pins have been so prominent this weekend, and obviously at the most inopportune times, generally speaking.
Correct. And, you know, he just pulled the trigger on that one and got a little extra hand in it, and the ball just drove right through the 9-pin. Makes the spare no problem.
Well, he's going to be up first in the 10th, so if he's going to put any pressure on, it better be the next two shots, and they both better be strikes and a good count.
Yeah, Cortez has a max of 206 here. He can strike out for 206.
And then Dylan would need a good count spare and
Yeah,
a count.
he just need a mark in the 10th frame, that's for sure.
All right, first shot, Cortez.
Uh-oh.
That's there. Right
Wow.
there.
Watching it get down the lane, I said, oh, that's going to have to hook at some point.
Yeah, a little safer light hit for him rather than going deep.
Yep. That's a big shot on Cortez's part. He needs a double here, mate, to force Dylan to mark.
Had some close matches on the show today. This is certainly one of them. Got to be a strike.
Oh,
Yep.
wow. Rattled out that 7-pin, but boy, I'll tell you, that's covering a lot of real estate right there. Holy cow.
The thing about Cortez is you can tell that he's been in these situations before,
Right.
and so he's understood the moment, paced himself, knows what he has to do. Obviously, all he can do is put up the best, force his opponent to make the mark in the 10th.
Well, there's no panic there, you know, even though he looks young and he's very young, you know, there's no panic there. He's been in a lot of these head-to-head matches before, so there's no quit in his
That's
game.
another one. Close.
29 in the 10th frame.
Yeah,
looks like
good.
he shoots 205.
Good effort.
That's a pretty solid game right there, guys, from Cortez.
Yeah, all nines.
Yeah, absolutely.
No tap
205 game.
300.
You know what it does is it forces Dylan to mark.
And if he doesn't get a strike, that spare is going to look like he's got about 20 pins in front of him.
The one that Cortez missed. Is that what
Yeah.
you're yeah,
Yep.
I agree. Yeah, Dylan's just trying to hit the target right here, give the ball a chance.
And not only that, but just to calm himself down a little.
Exactly.
I'm sure to this moment, maybe the most important shot he's thrown in his young career. Dylan Taylor.
Oh.
Well, he didn't lack ball speed, that's for sure. That ball was out there and down the lane. Good break on the 5-7, tomahawked the 5-pin, left a 7. You know, guys, this guy has been solid all weekend on spares, and if there was ever a big one, this is it right here.
No different than any other 7-pin. That's how you have to go through it mentally.
Norm Duke says that to me all the time. He goes, hey, it's no different than the one earlier in the week. And I'm thinking to myself, there's $5 grand on the line right here on this 7-pin. It is different earlier in the week.
Well, you know what? No disrespect, Jim. We just met this week, but that's probably why you're not Norm Duke.
Emil, you don't have to hit me that hard, brother. Wow. Wow. Boy, that's solid right there.
4 to tie. 4 to win. 4 pins. We've
Yeah.
seen some 4-pin
Hey,
first balls during the week.
You don't
but,
want the-
not with that speed
Right.
and not where he's standing.
Not with the angle Dylan's playing. I would take a chance there's going to be more than 4.
Yeah,
His goal is to stay behind the line and keep it down the middle.
you don't want the old S4, as I like to call it, but as you said, his ball and angle, it's not even close to producing that type of split. For the W. That's enough.
Good enough right there.
About that.
He gets the crowd approval right there. You know, Dylan's doing his best not to smile, but he is grinning ear to ear right now.
He is streets
He
trying
can't
to
help
keep
but
it
be
together.
proud of him because he looks like a kid in a candy store right now. I'm happy for him.
I think really what he's trying to do, along with that, is to not get ahead
I agree.
of himself, because it's like, okay, man, I just beat Cortez, I just beat Matt.
Right.
Now I got to beat Francois twice,
Now I
but
have- exactly.
it's the same thing though. It's just one match, one frame at a time.
And Cortez Shank gets 3,000 for the loss, but he also gets $120 for 2 high games, so $3,120.
That's
for
a pretty
third
good
place.
weekend right there, mate. 31-20 for the weekend. Yeah, I'd take that.
Down to the very last shot, but Dylan Taylor gets that 10th frame mark. He advances to the title match. Play our top seed, Francois Lebrun.
Well,
Dylan's gonna have to
since Steve started the nicknames for Dylan.
on the line here. Still got that 2021 Buick Encore if anybody's pull off the front 12. And then it's 1 or 2 games depending on how it happens. Great semifinal match finishing up in 3rd place in Phoenix, Arizona, Cortez Shank.
Dylan has, we've got Dylan the Dominator from Steve. We've got Jay Banks says Dylan the Damager. That's a pretty good one.
There's a lot of nicknames. I don't even think Dylan knows all those nicknames are coming in on the screen. I see people out there that are making comments left and right, and I'm seeing some great nicknames. Dominator, Damager, Destroyer. He's such a nice guy, you know.
I'll do my wrestling thing here. And in this corner, weighing in at about 225 pounds, from parts unknown, Dylan, the Dominator, Taylor.
That's pretty good. Who needs Howard Finkel when we've got Steve Mackie?
Yeah.
These two guys are practicing. Dylan's off to the left, warming up on lanes 3 and 4, and Francois got the clear path here. He's got the championship pair all to himself right now, just warming up.
All right, so Steve and Jim, obviously, we've watched Francois a couple times within match play in the winner's bracket. The match to get there, he got really deep, had to open up his angles a little bit as well. He's already inside, which we thought just because Cortez would be in that area, he probably have to be in that area. What do you think from a strategic standpoint for Francois to have success?
You know, I think Francois, when he was practicing off to the left, I think he's a smart enough player. He's going to pay attention where Cortez was playing, but he also has a game plan with a couple different bowling balls. I noticed here in practice he's played really deep with some shiny stuff, with some duller stuff. You know, he's going to try a couple different things, but I really expect him to stay inside right where that practice shot's at. You know, I think he's trying to see a ball reaction right now, which one's going to get down the lane easier, which one's going to check up a little sooner. He's going to play with surfaces, but Francois has been in these situations before. You know, he's had a heck of a last few years, and I don't expect him to panic. You know, I think he'll make spares and he'll keep the ball in play, and I think he also knows he's bowling against an inexperienced player here that's bowling for his first title, and he's probably nervous and excited, and so I think there's a lot going on.
And I think Francois will be pretty pleased if he shoots a third 300 on television, because this one's going to be a car that he can drive home to Wichita.
That is still in play because no one has done it.
He wins a car here. He's going to be sending Stu down to Texas by himself.
One question for you: If Francois loses and we go to the additional match, does the contest still carry over?
Yep.
Okay.
Maximum 4 matches.
Okay.
So just kind of reiterate that because Francois is the 1 seed and he has not lost a match today, he has to lose twice. So Dylan doesn't just have to beat him the first time. If he beats him once, he's got to beat him twice. And so Francois has the luxury of knowing that he's bowling an inexperienced guy in the best of 2 matches. You know, I think if you told Francois that, he'd take that every time.
I'd take those odds, definitely, 100%.
Sure, absolutely.
Let's take a look again after Francois' shot here. Again, what Francois and Dylan are.
People walking in this morning handing you money.
Yes.
That
was
awesome.
for the consolation tournament, I think.
Well, that's for the old guys that can't cash in a regular tournament like me. We have to have a consolation prize.
Did you guys mention the winners in the consolation tournament?
No, let's do that real
First
quick.
place was Zach Wilkins with 825. Zach out of Canada. Dallas Leong, 819. Trey Ford, 810. Chris Clerk, 4th place for 807. And the 5th place last cash in that $1,000 event, Justin Perez with 803, just missing a second round of money, Trey Ford with a second entry of 791. That's a 4-game series on the tournament condition on the lanes at the high end of the house. Well, we're about to get started here on this exciting 17th New Mexico Open.
I almost had a full, crisp, clean broadcast, but I didn't have some audio on our trophy shot. So let's go to it one more time, and people will actually hear us talk over this trophy shot as well. So.
All right. Well, the winner gets 11 grand and that beautiful New Mexico State trophy.
Well, there you have it.
And it looks like Dylan, Francois giving Dylan the chance to start the match again on the left lane. You know, so far all three players have given our boy a chance to start the match on the left lane, and Francois is no different. And heck, Dylan steps up and takes advantage of that. He flushes the first 10.
Well, that's either confident by Lavoie or he didn't know what was going on in the first couple of matches. I think I would have tried to change the mental thought of this guy.
Absolutely. I think I would have stepped up and started the match and let him think about it a little bit. Well, you know, even the best go to the good side once in a while, mate. Sometimes when you call Buffalo before the arrows, it counts. And I don't think Frankie cares if it's on the right side or the left side. I think he's worried about getting lined up, but he'll take that good break.
And they've both got a strike towards a 12-bagger.
Oh, that's right. You're thinking of that new car. I see. Steve wants to give somebody else's car away.
That man's mind is always about business.
It's the only match that started with a couple of strikes. And we've got our Rio Rancho Observer bowling rider, Gary Heron, has arrived. He's going to give it a good one-page plug next Sunday. That's a bit more speed. Ooh, trouble.
Wow, he's trying to get
Brooklyn and high.
Yeah, trying to get a little more speed on the ball, and he just he's fighting it a little bit, but he has the luxury of working on this. He doesn't have to one match and be done. I just got a couple of texts in, Emil from my buddies in Arizona, and they said Dylan's not as inexperienced as we're thinking right now. He bowls a lot of action in the Phoenix area, so I'm glad to hear that. That makes me happy. Frankie on a nice cover right there. Nice and straight.
Both pins.
Oh my gosh, you know, hits them both. It doesn't, you know, there's no doubters. I think I've only seen him miss one spare all weekend. And that's just that Wichita State coverage. He's just so solid on spares. Great mental game.
This is about his 19th game in the tournament this weekend for Lavoie. Both 3 in the Pro-Am on Friday night.
Shout out to him for doing that as well, obviously. Knowing he had the bowl, certainly qualifying the next morning. Oh, I'm looking for an early
double. It's going to be close.
Oh.
Whoa. Dylan rattles out the 4-7 there on a light shaker, but it counts as a double, and he's got him an early lead.
I want to go back to that point about the action, and I'm sure you have bowled action at some point. Steve's bowled action. I've done a little bit back in my day. It does get you a little tough in that sense and put you in some situations to where, you know, you didn't expect to be bowling for maybe a certain amount of money.
Right.
Well, you know, any of those hard matches you're bowling in your area, whether it be in Dallas or in Wichita, Kansas, or in Phoenix, Arizona, you're going to have quality players down there, and you take your lumps and you put your money in, and you'll win a few, but you'll lose a lot. And one thing about losing, you can do one of two things. You can quit this game and leave or make excuses, or you can get tougher. And all of that has hardened this young man right here for this situation.
Yep. Good point, Jimmy. That's going to be close.
How about that, boys? Take that, he tells Francois. Turkey on the board.
And Lavoie, not exactly 2 quality shots to think about it in the past. Somewhat of a runaway Brooklyn and a nose hit.
Got some good stuff coming in about Dylan. We'll talk about it when Dylan is back up. But first, the 3-time major champion, 2 U.S. Opens, 1 PBA Tournament of Champions.
Move 3 left. Little more speed. Still trouble. And
Right
not
now,
only
Francois is thinking, where's Richie Allen when I need him?
well, we saw him make the
He goes,
spear
this
in
guy
the
Dylan, boy, he's tough.
we saw him make that spear over there against Shank. But that pin's come down a little bit off spot, so this is going to be an interesting spear attempt.
Yeah, 3, 6, 9, 10, and it looks like the 9 pin is just off a hair, mate.
Or the 3 pin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we saw that just a little bit. Sometimes when you get these pins bouncing around, they rattle some of them, shake them. And that was an offset spare there a little bit. It just made it more difficult. Boys, he's still searching, and we're in the 4th frame, and he still hasn't gotten lined up yet.
By any stretch.
Well, I think I'm not saying he's going to
There
get
he
comfortable by any stretch of the imagination, but he knows the situation, so he does have another game. If he has to take the entire game to finally get lined up, that's what he's got to do. Big move left.
Huge.
Wow. He did. He moved more left, lofted it over the left gutter, looped it a little bit where Cortez was finished that last match, and that ball just finished a little too much still.
He was right in line with the middle strip between pairs and walked that way, Master.
Solid as normal on the spares.
All right, so a couple of nuggets, additional nuggets from the chat. Kerwin and John, thank you for sharing. John mentioned Kerwin was right. Dylan also 3rd place at the ABT Nationals in Las Vegas in 2019. I don't want to put the man's business out there, but it sounds like he won a cool 15 G's as well. And then also Verbal said, side note that Dylan just defeated Matt Zweig in the local King of the Hill last week. So
well, he does have some experience, and we appreciate your comments coming in, folks, giving us a little more update about Dylan.
And he made a joke.
And he's even making some funny jokes here with the crowd, and they're loving it right now. You know, you can't help but root for a guy like that. You love that personality on the lanes.
Yes, very, very much so. And he's got a 34-pin lead if he makes this 4-pin. It will take one of those big strings by Francois to make this just a 1-game match.
All right, he's clean through 4, boys. Pretty good shots right there, shooting in the 5th. He's going to regroup a little bit, have some water, and relax a little bit before he shoots in the 5th.
Steve, would you think about instituting a shot clock?
No. I think that's strictly for tennis and basketball. Leave bowling alone. You know, we keep on trying to be some other sport. It's happened with all these Johnny-come-lately promoters for years. We're bowling. Deal with it.
We've got a couple guys out here that would push that 30, 45-second clock if we had one, that's for sure.
Yeah, they'd end up winning nothing. They'd owe money.
Pretty solid shot right there for Dylan. Got that 10 out of there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to Tenpins More at Rio Rancho. Emil Williams Jr., Jim Tillery, Steve Mackie, the finals of the 17th New Mexico Open. We have reached the title match. Dylan Taylor, the number 4 seed, taking on the top seed, Francois Lavoie. Lavoie trying to get comfortable, now further in front of the ball return, but Lavoie must lose twice. Dylan must defeat Francois twice to win this matchup. Thank you for watching. Please share, hit the thumbs up, and subscribe to BowlStreamTV.
Again, boys, when you're a 2-time winner of the U.S. Open and you shoot 300 on TV, you get those kind of breaks.
Yeah. And he is thinking deep thoughts, and not dark either. He's going to re-rack here.
Yeah, Frankie's taking a re-rack just to gather his thoughts and take a little bit of time.
Tournament director Jeff Hemer on the Johnny on the spot.
And big shout out to Jeff this week as well. He's been great providing stats for us right here in the booth, and obviously uploading stats. He's been the we call him statistician. Is that a fair word to say? Along with everything else he does, announcements.
Yeah.
Go-to
guy.
Well, I know he's your go-to guy. Certainly, he's been great. So I appreciate him.
He's definitely made Steve's job much easier this week.
Oh yeah, can't do without him. I've already signed him up for next year.
Gotta put him on contract, mate. Frankie, real deep. Holy cow, that's what a champion does right there.
It's not
Big
over
double
yet.
in the 5th and 6th right there.
Yep.
I think one of the
You feel that, Emil? You feel that?
That's
a little pressure right there, brother.
Cut that 34-pin lead down, unless Dylan strikes again. Dylan the Dominator.
Francois, man, is so patient. He allows himself to never really panic, and so keeps himself grounded in that sense. And obviously, he's a 3-time major champion for a reason.
Decent shot.
Pretty good shot right there from
Yeah.
Dylan. Just about a half 10 there, but not a bad shot at
Yep.
all.
Yep. Right there.
You know, that double by Frankie right there, and the excitement of the championship match. This pin right here might look closer to a toothpick than a 10-pin.
Yeah, right. And lots of them missed in the last 3 days. That would not be a wise move. Got it.
Wow, that's pretty solid right there. He's been solid all week, Steve, you know. Standing back watching yesterday, I bowled Friday, but I had a chance to watch Dylan yesterday in qualifying. And, you know, I stood for a couple of games, and he was solid on every dang spare.
Yeah.
Just the shot making has been impressive this week.
Yeah.
7th frame upcoming for Dylan, but you know, the confidence when you see Francois double and then you see Dylan respond immediately. He didn't strike, but he threw a great shot. That goes a long way, certainly for the psyche.
Dylan shooting in the 7th frame now. Wow. That wasn't flat, boys. That was a crusher.
Yeah, that was a ringer.
That was a ringer 10
Yep.
right there.
Yep.
It's a great shot.
Francois gets a double, he'll be down by 3 all of a sudden.
The ebb and flows of this game, you know.
Back-to-back 10 pins.
Well, one thing about that is that means you're still living in a pocket.
Yeah.
And on this tough a condition, that's saying something in itself.
Got it. No worries,
Very
mate.
solid.
Yeah.
Very solid.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
Yeah. You know what? Let's see what we got coming up here.
It's a big 2 shots for Francois Lavoie, and he's very careful, very meticulous with his feet. He's looks like he's moved maybe a board and a half further left on this lane.
Could cut it to 3 here with a strike.
Better hurry. That was
Oof.
too much
He
air.
got that one real wide, boys. It didn't
Yeah.
quite make it. I thought it might miss the head pin, but
Yeah.
it got back.
Yeah, too much air.
Yeah, got the 10 pin out, so he leaves the 2-4-8.
Well, caught up 7 pins. 8 if he makes the spare. Still in arrears though.
Just enough. Didn't have to hit the 4 pin by much, but got it out. So Francois shooting in the 8th frame.
Down by 26.
And he's down by 26 pins, as you all are watching on the TV screen can see with what we're watching as well.
He's gone further left again on the odd lane.
Wow. Tripped that 10 out, but that was a pretty good shot on Francois' part right there.
I hope the league bowlers aren't watching this. I don't want them doing that. I'll have all the people on the pair next to them screaming at me.
You'll have broken foul lights and broken gutters and everything else if they try that, mate.
Yeah.
We don't want the league bowlers trying that.
No. They don't have to on the house shot, I'm happy to say.
No, you put that first arrow house shot out there and leave it alone.
Yeah.
They like averaging 230.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, listen to Steve, league bowlers. Dylan has been doing his thing. Okay.
That's the first one he's actually, you can see a little tension in. He tugged that one, kind of came over the top of it a little bit, and he got the 9 pin out, which is a bonus, but leaving a pesky 3-6-10 is never a given.
Lost 3 pins on count. The difference now 23. He's got to win this first game against Lavoie to force a replay, and they'll both have 1 loss apiece.
Steve, you've been keeping score. I didn't think Dylan has missed a makeable spare. I know he's had a split, but I don't think he's missed a makeable. Can you confirm?
I can confirm he spared a split in the first match against Matt from Arizona. Breathed a sigh of relief there.
Yeah,
as did the crowd.
You could hear the crowd's reaction. You know, they're living and breathing every shot just like we are. So he covered that one in the 8th frame. But we still got a match right here. But Francois is going to have to step up and do his part.
Well, Francois can go off the sheet for 222. Dylan could match that for 235. That'll cut the lead down to 13 going into a new match. Yeah. 235 to 222 if they both go off the sheet from here. That's close.
That's a pretty good shot right there. He didn't come over the top around that one. Didn't come around it. He actually projected that one out a little bit and it rolled right back to the pocket. It was a great shot on Dylan's part.
Yeah, and tugged the 5 as well.
You know, it keeps him right there. He controls the match by striking right there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
forces Frankie to get them all.
Well, Lavoie is going to finish the match and chose to do so. He can shoot 222. That would make Dylan get the first strike and a good count.
Big shot, must strike here. Big-time major champion. All right, 10 pin.
You know what? That gives him a max potential of 202 now, guys. That just basically means Dylan has to mark on the 10th frame, assuming Frankie Turkey's in the 10th.
Yeah, that's almost a fait accompli for Dylan.
Pretty solid right there.
Well, we like extra bowling.
That could be interesting. 202 through the face, chop spare, 203, 202, something like that. Could even have a tie.
Nine out if Francois strikes out. 9 out from Dylan would be 203.
Yeah.
8-1. 8 out would be 202, as you mentioned.
A lot of what-if possibilities. We're about to find out right here.
No.
You know what, mate? All that's for naught. This match is over.
Yep.
I'm saying that right up front.
Yeah.
We're going to get some bonus bowling today, folks.
Yep.
We got one more match. Hope you guys don't have any dinner plans because we're going to watch one more match of bowling here at the New Mexico Open.
Yeah. Well, we finished as late as 6 o'clock here, so this is, what, 5 minutes to 4 Mountain Time. That'll work.
This is like a vacation then, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Now-
he really did a lot of searching there.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? Frankie's got a fill ball right now. He knows he's got one more game coming. It's going to be interesting to see what he pulls out of the bag, and he's already walking around looking.
Yeah.
And what he brings into play. Let's see if he moves right. See if he uses something that's shinier, that gets down the lane. You know, Frankie's a great player for a reason. And right now he has a fill ball coming, but he's back here. He's looking for a bowling ball. And anybody that has a ball, Frankie meets it at this point.
And not also, he's going to take this fill, but I believe he requested a re-rack because whatever he chooses from a bowling ball perspective, he wants to make sure if he does hit the 1-3, that he gets a clear picture that the ball is going to go through the pins the correct way.
Looks like he's pulling out resin with a lot of surface, or a lot of shine, rather.
Yeah.
Or I could have just made all of that up and they just wanted to put it on the second cycle.
Yeah. It sounded pretty good, Emil.
Emil, whatever you're making up sounds good, buddy. Half of these
Yeah.
stories are true. That's all I know.
It's your TV channel. You can say whatever you want, apparently.
So we'll see how this ball that Frankie pulled out reacts.
And
It's,
where he stands.
Yeah, I bet he moves right,
the
Steve.
main-
I bet he comes back to the right and tones it
Yeah.
down a little bit. I don't
Yeah.
think he'll be as deep.
No, that's.
And it looks like we're right in that aspect. He's going to come
Just
back to the right, and
just a little
this ball should go
unreliable.
a little bit more direct.
With a bit of speed, I would think.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
Oh.
Wow,
That-
boys.
That was his shot of the whole game.
I don't know if anybody was paying attention out there, but that fill ball right there was smooth, and it reacted really well. So Dylan's shooting the 10th frame here. He knows he's got this game wrapped up. He's got one more coming after this, but gives him a chance to just finish the match. You know, the crowd jeering Dylan a little bit, but it didn't matter. That match was over in the first place, so the crowd needs to settle down.
I think they were jeering his rare Brooklyn. There's not too many of them. You're getting more messages on your phone than
You know what? I'm
we're
getting
on the
1,000
TV.
messages from my buddies in Kansas and Arizona and Colorado, and you know, it's easy to be an armchair quarterback, but they're giving me some good information, that's for sure. And a lot of it's kind of funny.
Well, he was 34 pins ahead in the third and fourth frame. He's going to end up 34 pins ahead in this match. But it's a new day, new game coming up. It's not a two-game set. It's a one-game match. Both of them have lost only one match thus far today. This is their 8th match coming up for the day against various opponents. 224 to 190.
Jeff Femer, tournament director, asked both boys, he goes, "You guys want to play another one?" And they both nodded. That was quite funny.
Okay.
So it looks like now we're down to a one-game final match for $11,000 and a potential new car, as Steve might say.
I hope so. Wayne Simpkins down at the Petrie dealership would love to give it away. He took out an insurance policy against it. Cost him an arm and a leg, and I'm hoping that it gets knocked off. That'll be great publicity for the tournament, great publicity for the person that does it. This has got to be a strike to give Dylan a chance at it. He did start with a turkey in the last game. It's not going to be him.
All right, first frame, he goes high. Leaves us 3-6-10. You know, he's had several of these this weekend, and he's covered them all pretty darn well. But we are in the championship match, so every one of these is a little bit tougher.
Yeah, the last one that he went for, he barely made it. Let's see what happens this time. That was on lane 8 last time, and he hit the 3-pin pretty hard, but managed to get the 10 out as well with the 6. Trouble.
Whoa.
Early trouble.
Well, that's his first hiccup, guys, of the day right there. You know, we'll see if Frankie can take advantage of that,
Yeah.
and how Dylan recovers from that.
Yeah. Dylan not dominating in the first frame.
Frankie moved to the right. He's going to use this shiny ball and probably play that same shape that he threw in his fill ball earlier.
And pretty fast.
Wow. Wow. I'm hearing a lot of the crowd back here saying, watch him shoot 300 this game. Watch this. You know, I've heard a lot of people back here saying, watch this. This would be ironic.
Oh, this would be fabulous.
So I don't know how you just fix that, you know, how you see that and just guess at that ball, moving back 15 boards right and getting something with less hook and shine. That's pretty impressive.
If you're just joining us, we have moved into the if necessary match. Dylan defeated Francois Lavoie, the #1 seed, in the first match. So we have moved into what is essentially Game 7, winner take all, for $11,000. One game match here in the finals. And Francois switched to a Hustle Inc. That is the ball he's currently throwing, a Hustle Inc. Before he had moved left with an Astrophysics, and he had started the last match with a Dart Coat. That's for you, Bluegrass 300.
That one, I think Frankie knew it when he let it go. He got it in a little bit and checked up on him.
Yeah. Well, the car remains safe for another year. Buick Encore, you can go back to the dealership.
Mate, we'll just, it's a big cover. We'll just hold on to that car till next year. You keep holding on to that car, you know, it's 10 years since you've given a car away, mate. That car is going to be expired, not a date by the time we do it.
Dave Davis, the pro bowler, he won a car, a $20,000 car in Australia back in the 80s for a 300 game, yeah. Down in Melbourne. I think he had trouble finding the freeway out of Port Melbourne. Had to put it on a boat.
I bet he doesn't still have that car, mate.
No.
For Dylan, he is throwing the RST X1 from Roto Grip. So if you're a Storm Roto fan, that's what's going down the lane. And shot there. The green ball, by the way, is a High Road Max for Dylan.
It's a good comeback. You know, it kind of shows you what player we're dealing with here. You know, he shook that 3-6-10 miss off and came back with a really good shot there. That was a quality effort.
What's people saying over there on the chat board?
Everything that is positive about both Dylan, Francois, the coverage, your event, and are you taking entry fees already
Yes,
for next year?
I've already taken one.
Okay, there you go.
Plus a couple that couldn't make it this weekend that told me to
Roll it over?
keep their money, yeah, roll it over. I
You can
guess
go ahead
that-
and confirm me for next year, mate. I'll come back and throw a lot of spares for you.
Oh, good. I can barely wait.
Oh, sit. Wow. He got it in a little bit, but it had speed on it, and he was saying sit, and I was saying sit, and it did. It did for a big double. That's the way to come back.
Certainly is.
We're approaching 500 concurrent live viewers right now. So share this with a friend so we can get this joint up to 500 or surpass it. Appreciate you tuning in. Again, 10 pins and more. That's the center. Rio Rancho is the city, the state, New Mexico. The 17th New Mexico Open. Emil Williams Jr., Jim Tillery, Steve Mackie, and that's Francois Lavoie, your #1 seed.
That came off the hand with good speed and good trajectory, and it was awesome. I'm hugging you, Emil. It's okay. It's
I'm
me
like-
tapping you, buddy. You thought you were getting heckled.
Well,
You thought you were getting heckled by the gallery. That's just me.
that early 12-pin lead down to 2. Lavoie needs a strike here
Well,
to maintain that lead.
we wouldn't expect anything less, mate. We won a good championship match here, and we got the right two guys in the finals, it looks like, that's for sure. we'd like to invite everybody out there that's watching today for the New Mexico Open to come out next year. Steve's got plenty of openings, and all my Kansas buddies and Phoenix buddies, you guys better start calling in here and getting in. Wow, flat 10 there, but quality effort, and you knew it was. Frankie started to give a little bit of energy to that one, and he thought it was a pretty good shot, too.
Yeah, fell off the shot a little, hurt him.
Just a reminder, next year's New Mexico Open is August 19th through the 21st. And there'll be plenty of entries. We're expecting somewhere around 200 and 215 or more entries next year. Solid, Steve. And, you know, I think the most we've ever had here is, what, 216 maybe?
217.
217.
In 2014, that tournament won by Craig Knight out of Michigan. Shot 285 in the championship match, had a 10-bag at the start, and left a designer washout in the 11th ball. He had 2 Brooklyns in there, though, so he copped that sweet, and he beat Mike Edwards, a senior pro, with a 242, which would have won any other year.
Wow.
Key shot here. This puts him in the lead.
Oh, that might be the break of the match right there so far. You know, I'm not going to say it. I said it earlier, but Buffalo.
What would be the Brooklyn equivalent, Steve, in this area? So we're Rio Rancho, New Mexico. What's the Brooklyn equivalent to this?
Placitas, Bernalillo, West Mesa,
Mate,
where all the bodies are.
That's not Brooklyn. That's over there on the other side. You've got to go the other direction for Brooklyn. You've got to go to Gallup or Tahatchee or Shiprock or somewhere. Come on, mate.
Yeah.
Steve and his geography.
He's the Steve. You're like the perfect grandfather. I'm bringing my kids to hang out with you.
Hey, 72. Great grandfather. Well, I tell you what, he copped a sweet break there, and he's going to be up by 7 or 8 pins.
Yeah, this is
Could
a
be
big
18
shot.
pins, yeah.
Big shot for both guys right here. Oof. Looked like he got it in a little bit from the get-go again, but it didn't quite cross over. It's a good break right there. That could have been worse.
Yeah, and Lavoie down by 6, bottom of the 3rd frame.
Here is Dylan's road to the finals here today. He defeated Tyler Albrecht 424 to 388 in round 1. Then who had the last name Brown? Dennis Brown. Was it Dennis Brown? He defeated Dennis Brown 400 to 381 in round 2 as he goes for the 4-7 cover. He makes
solid as he has been all week right there.
Then defeated John McIntyre 416 to 363. And his first loss came to Francois Lavoie in the well, that doesn't.
In the 4th match today.
Is that right?
It doesn't seem right, does it? I don't think he's both Francois yet, so maybe he has.
I might. We'll check the
Go
bracket.
back and look.
I'll check it. I'll go check it now.
Francois shooting. Oh. Whoa. He got on it a little bit right there, and you just can't keep the ball from hooking. Now you got a pesky 310 right here. This is no give me, mate.
No gimme at all.
Yeah, this is no gimme right here. This is championship shots right here.
Move.
Oof.
He's down by 19 pins.
Little breathing room. He's in trouble.
Yep, he is.
He did lose to Francois. Was in the after the break first set of winners bracket matches that dropped him to the elimination bracket where he had to defeat Keith Dahmer to get to the elimination finals. So 0 of 1 already, but he's already rebounded off that loss and looking to get more. For Francois, he defeated Dale Coffey 472-305. Keith Dahmer 431 to 431. Then there was the roll-off, which was pretty cool, and Francois won that.
He hasn't been comfortable at all.
In 2 games, you know, goes to show everybody that's watching out there just how difficult these conditions are played this week. It doesn't matter if you're trying to play the gutter or trying to play fourth arrow or anywhere in between. There are no gimmies. It comes down to premium shot making and spares, and you got the best player one of the best players in the world right here, probably the top 3 in the country right now, and he's doing his best to try to shoot deuce.
And to finish the record for Francois, the 11th seed, again won the roll-off against Dahmer, then defeated Robert Marion 378-297. We mentioned his match against Dylan Taylor 493 to 387, and then the winner's bracket match, the match to determine the #1 seed, he defeated Cortez Shank 425 to 391.
And right now, Emil, he's not thinking about any of that right now. He's just trying to figure out what the heck to do with Dylan Taylor. He's got his hands full, and he's sitting in the boat without a paddle right now.
Big shot.
Oh.
And Francois Lavoie has averaged just a tad under 220 for 10 games prior to this show. He's had a 190 and looking at a 180 at the moment. So this pair proving to be a little bit difficult for him. Having said that, this is an opening.
Dylan got a little fast and a little wide with that shot right there. Probably an adrenaline shot. He just needs to settle down.
Yeah.
You know, I know he wants to go for it, but I think he's smart enough player that he'll take the count right here.
Well,
and stay with the lead.
Going a long way right. Let's see what this happens here. Going for it. Close. He definitely went for that.
Gave it a good run right there. When he let it go, mate, I thought it was there.
And that's probably not a bad move. I look at the scorecard. Francois, who's all over the place like you know, having a bad time. 107. He may as well go for it. He's got a 5-pin lead.
I understand.
I would have gone for it.
Yeah, well, I know. You go for everything, though.
No, I feel that.
Yeah.
Risk takers, baby. Again, it's 11K on the line. It's
a lot of deep breaths there.
Yeah, it's also one of those things where
a lot of adrenaline flowing right now.
You don't get many chances to defeat one of the top players in the world. So you got to take that opportunity when you can get it.
I agree with you.
Yeah, good point. Trouble.
Well,
tell you what that's doing. That's messing with his head.
It's messing with my head, mate.
No, that's a really good point. It's a good point. No one wants to see. I mean, Dylan doesn't want to throw the Brooklyn, and certainly if you're sitting on the bench watching it, you don't want to see that either.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And at the same time, Frankie knows what condition we're bowling on. He knows he's not trying to do that on purpose. The bottom line is we've thrown our share of Brooklyns also this week. So, when you throw tension in there and pressure, it's easy to come over the top of it. See there?
See, he had fun with it.
See there?
He gave the fist pump.
That's the bottom line, and the fist bump. That's a little.
He had fun with it.
That's a little humor. Dylan's talking to me right now. He said, "That's a good pocket, right?" I said, "That's the one that higher carriage percentage." Absolutely.
Yeah, but having said that, he's a perfectionist.
That's very true.
Perfectionists don't like Brooklyns, I can tell you, from personal experience. I used to hate Brooklyns with a passion.
Well,
sounds like your love of or hate for Brooklyns is equal to my hate for 8-pins.
Oh. Well, both guys got good breaks right there in a close match, and now it comes down to who can capitalize on the double.
5 pins the difference. While looking for a double. First one this game. That's a chance. Oh, goodness gracious me.
Boys, I hate to say it, but he might have just stayed Brooklyn there, huh? Just got it wide and just didn't make the corner.
I'll tell you what, he is going to go for this. He's changing balls. Let's see what happens here. Very good spare shooter.
Now, it wouldn't surprise me a bit if he make this, Steve. Wouldn't surprise me knowing Francois. Nope. Nope.
135 in the 8th frame. After a 220 average, he's going to struggle to shoot a pair of 190s in the championship match. Amazing.
Well, we've gotten all the way down to the 8th frame of the winner take all. This pattern, of course, has been difficult throughout. Got to give a shout out to Mike Miller and his creative mind, if you will, to come up with what is always a challenging but still a level of playability, because you know, 4 people didn't just get here by accident. They figured it out at some point.
I had the pleasure of having dinner with Mike on Thursday night, and Mike called it his 36-foot horseshoe. Oh, look at this, guys. Holy cow, that's unexpected.
Wow. And this is a tough washout. This isn't your 1, 2,
Yes.
10, you know, let's get it for a beer frame. It's got the 7-pin there
Yeah,
as
this is,
well. And he's got a little bit of a gap between the 1 and the 2. Push the 2 around a bit, I guess, because there's no way that's a normal 1, 2. Have a look at it.
Yeah, this is a tough spare right here, but boy.
Right now, if I was this coach, I'd be saying move 3.5 and point your feet left.
Got a chance.
Close. Oh.
Wow.
You know what? That offset 2-pin right there made a difference on that.
Yep, it did.
You were just talking about that.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy.
Still a 5-pin match.
If there is a silver lining, he is still in the lead.
Yep.
Terrible break, certainly,
Yeah.
certainly, but it didn't lose him the lead in that point. So he's still in control. He's got to throw the best shot he can, certainly, but then he's going to have to sit and watch Francois potentially, depending on what happens in this 9th frame, step up
Right.
and win this tournament.
You know what? 2 frames for 11 grand and a New Mexico Open title. And right now, both players are trying to figure out how to get to the pocket. This is a tough situation.
How do you make a spare?
9th frame.
Wow, that's pulled from the get-go. Emil, it looked left off his hand. You know, it's like sometimes winning is hard. You know, sometimes it's hard to close out a match. Winning's tough. There's no gimmies.
It's definitely hard in tennis. I see it all the time in the 3rd set or the 5th set. Very hard to win a match when it's all on the line. You want to win, you want the money, you want the trophy, you want the prestige, the power that goes with it, whatever, the contracts.
And we're not bowling on a walled-up house shot right here. We're bowling on one of the toughest patterns of the year.
He made this barely, and then he chopped the 3-pin on this lane. Got it.
Wow, solid cover right there.
Yeah, really.
Pretty solid. Coming to the 9th frame.
We talked about Dylan's experience, and folks were letting us know, certainly. The difference now is, I don't know how many times Dylan has been in this experience or this opportunity, this situation to win a championship with this amount of money on the line. I know the APT, but against a 3-time major champion who is in his prime.
And who is in more trouble than Superman with some kryptonite in front of him. He hasn't done anything for 2 games.
You are correct.
And he still has a chance. You have to shut out the great players.
Lavoie. 9th frame. Good shot. Really good shot
Wow,
there.
that's a great shot right there. He wanted that one.
Yeah.
That's probably his best shot in the last 4 or 5 frames right
Yeah,
there.
not only wanted it, thought he had it. For sure.
It is in the full hands now of Dylan Taylor. It is his.
He can't be shut out.
He cannot be. He couldn't be shut out to be. Yeah, well, yes, he could. So,
Regardless of what Frankie does.
but now
This
it's
tournament's in the hands of Dylan Taylor. I agree.
I did hear, or I was able to read, I should say, the lips of Dylan, and he was looking to, you know, his support system here, and was saying he wasn't sure, or didn't know what else to do at this point. So I think Dylan's in that obviously situation where what he's doing isn't quite working, but if he can find the muster to throw it, just get it to the 1-3, which is what got him here.
Yep. He just needs to find one shot. He just needs. Now Frankie's going to take a re-rack, a little extra time to regroup. He knows it's a 5-pin game.
Max score 185 for Francois Lavoie.
You know, people around the Southwest here and around the country watching and looking at these scores going, sure, I could do that. No, you can't. You don't know how tough this is right now, and how good these guys are trying to play these lanes.
And if they think they can do these scores, where the heck are they?
You
know,
need to
had
enter
70
next
people
year.
come and go
Exactly.
in this tournament this year.
Like I was telling you earlier, Emil, Mike Miller, we were having dinner the other night. He calls this pattern his 36-foot horseshoe. That's all he said. For those out there watching, try to figure that out, what that means.
So
Probably means this. If Walter Ray Williams was here, he'd have a chance.
let me tell you what Francois just did. He just went to the bag, picked up a different ball. He's going to throw a different ball than what he's just been throwing. He was throwing the hustle link. I think this might be the astrophysics he may be going back to. I'm not sure.
Yep.
But how about that move?
That takes more guts than I'll ever have. Look where he's standing.
Unreal.
Oh, my goodness. As you said
Wow.
it, Steve, guts.
As you can hear the fans and all sitting here, you know, my heart was beating fast. Steve, the hairs on your arm are standing up, brother. That's
Yeah. And that's not because I'm sitting next to you, trust me.
that's some craziness right there.
The man pulled out a different bowling ball
And moved 15
in the
boards
10th
left
frame.
and lofted it in a 5-pin match. That's what you call good right there, Emil. That's the only word for it.
There's some other words, but since I own a business now, I won't say them.
I have another phrase, but I can't say it on the air.
I won't say them on my. Please don't say them on my channel.
Yeah, I got another phrase we call that, but we won't say that out loud.
All right, second shot upcoming here for Lavoie. Lost the initial match to Dylan. They ran it back, of course, the double elimination. He just made a ball change first shot of the 10th. Made a big jump left.
Read.
245. If he spares, it's 175. And simply put, a mark and a good count.
Yeah. Mediocre count might get it done. Better spare this.
Francois Lavoie, 175. Final score. And that means the match is in Dylan Taylor's hands.
That dropped his tournament average from 219.9 to 213 and change. Those two games.
I don't know if you guys out there in TV land can feel the stress, but it is thick right now in the bowling center. 11 grand on the line, one frame, and you're trying to figure out where the 1-3 pocket's at. That's tough.
Dylan taking that extra time. You see the big deep breath, the exhale. Defeated Francois 224 to 190. He's got a few pins to work with count. Off his hand, 11K. All right.
Ooh, good break there, guys.
Yeah.
58.
This could be a tie.
Needs a spare. Spare in
I
7.
think he'll make the spare, but it could be a tie.
Spare in 7 tie. Spare in 8 or more
Last
wins.
3 frames, 6, 7, and an 8. Have a look at it. And that's in his head.
I really think he's just literally just trying to get it off his hand.
Yeah, if you've ever had to shoot a tougher spare, I don't think there is one. You know, right now, this is the toughest he's going to have to shoot.
Dylan Taylor qualified as the 4th seed. And this stepladder final has defeated Matt Zweig, Cortez Shank, and Francois already once. Needs it. Has it.
Wow, he made that like a champ, boys.
We started this thing, folks, on Friday at 9 a.m. with qualifying. Actually, Steve started it earlier in the week with multiple sweepers. 9 a.m., 2 p.m. qualifying squads. 7:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., 6 p.m. qualifying squads on Saturday. Double elimination match play 8 a.m. today. And we've come down to 1 shot.
Potentially 1 shot.
For
8 or more, and he's the 2021 New Mexico Open champ.
11,000.
7 count. We have an unbelievable tie.
For the win. That's it. That's it. Dylan Taylor got enough. He is the 17th annual New Mexico Open champion.
Oh, holy moly, Emil. Whoa. Wow, what a great match. I know it was 176, 175, but folks out there can't imagine what we're bowling on. This was a great championship match. Congratulations to Dylan Taylor out of the Phoenix area for winning the 2021 New Mexico Open. We'll have the checks and trophy presentations on the approach here in just a minute. But congratulations to Dylan Taylor. Great bowling by Francois Lavoie. I know he struggled on the TV matches, but man, what an amazing championship. And just the tough conditions kind of dictate what the scores look like. So we thank everybody for tuning in with us today and watching this exciting match. And thank you for all the comments. Holy moly. Dylan's going to make some money, so he can afford a new pair of underwear. he might need a couple pair, he says.
Steve is actually writing the check
So
right
Dylan
now.
might be taking us to a fancy steakhouse here in New Mexico tonight. He's getting lots of congrats and lots of hugs from a lot of well-wishers. Wow, what a performance. Well, Dennis Helmick and I were watching him yesterday in qualifying, and we saw some things in that game that looked like it matched up the pattern pretty well. And we weren't wrong. You know, he came in today and executed that plan, played direct, made spares, and bottom line is he earned the win.
Be able to pick up the audio from my regular mic.
You keep going.
And so, you know, and it showed. You know, we talked about what he needed to do to be victorious. And bottom line is you have to get in the top 32. It doesn't matter where you're seated. And once you get in the top 32, then it's a matter of grinding and being mentally tough. And he did that as well as anybody. Okay. So, you know, he did what he had to. We talked about that. I'm going to go down and give him a handshake and a hug here in a minute, but they're moving some microphones and some cords down there for the trophy presentation and check presentation. A lot of well-wishers online and text messages, and we want to thank you all. I'll make sure I relay that to Dylan from you folks down in Phoenix, because that was a great championship match, and he actually beat a really great champion in Francois Lavoie. And what a class act Frankie is. You know, you look at him handle that, and the congratulations he gave to Dylan, and that just shows the champion he is. So we're going to turn it over to Steve Mackie down for the trophy presentations here and kind of go from there. What an amazing finish. So Emil says we're gonna talk a little bit more. They're still adjusting some of the mics and presentation, so we'll stay with you here on the audio until we get Steve's live. Well, actually, right now.
Standing here 2 years ago hoping that we'd get going in 2020, didn't happen. Here we are with masks on.
Some of us.
That was a heck of one speech to you. That's Zweig, 4th place, $2,000.
Thank you.
A happy hooker.
Thank you.
Get a picture of
Oh,
it.
we got a picture now.
Yeah, hang around here. I'd like you to put your hands together for Jeff Lehman.
Yeah, Jeff.
They got a hold of Jeff in the year 2000, 21 years ago, and the JBT had made a stop in Sunlands, Las Cruces, Palmerston is no longer with us, and I wondered if we could get the JBT to come up north here to the Albuquerque area, specifically Rio Rancho, and we started 19 years ago with the JBT doubleheader in December, and we've been going strong ever since. Jeff will be back here from the Washington State at the end of September with the 7th Youth New Mexico Open. We've added $2,500 in scholarship money for that, so if you've got kids or grandkids that bowl, please encourage them to join that tournament. Last year we had 100 entries, or last we held it, we had 100 entries, and we hope to break a record there as well. In 3rd place today, $3,120, which includes 2 high games. Cortez Shank, who is a 2-time winner of the Youth New Mexico Open. Cortez in the building, will be going.
Give me that.
All right.
I said I guess we'll lose the scholarship part.
Okay, 2 times, they do the big check, Jeff, and the trophy out for the winner at the moment. Gave up a tournament in Washington, in Virginia this week to come out here. He won 2 high games, finished 2nd today, had a tough time on the TV pair, was averaging 220 prior to that for the earlier rounds today. Francois Lavoie, 5,621. You'd like to say a couple of words? You need to get used to talking on the microphone. I can tell you why. You're going to be a huge winner on the tour.
The old Steve Mackie dry humor joke there.
Yeah, very dry.
Congrats again to Dylan. That was a really tough final and great run this weekend. And I beat you earlier, and I guess you got your revenge. Congrats again.
Recent games, and you've had a terrific year. That's just petty cash with what you've already won this year. But we do thank you so much for coming out and bringing that Palms 2 winners with you as well. Okay, let's see Dylan Taylor. Come on, Dylan. On the screen over there, Dylan the Dominator, Dylan the Decimator, and I've got one for you. Who remembers the old TV series Gunsmoke? Yes. Hello, Mr. Dylan. Here we go, mate. 11,000. That's more than you've ever won in any of those pot games down in the finish series. And here's a check with a I'll hold the check. I'm used to holding money. Congratulations, Bill, on what you worked for. You did something that we haven't seen the whole weekend. Throwing it down the middle with speed around third arrow. No one else was successful at trying that. You made it work, and we'd like to hear a few words from you.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I don't know what to say. I'm absolutely speechless. I mean, first, thanks to Steve and the staff at Tenpins More for their hospitality. It's the third time I've pulled this tournament. It's turned this ring like clockwork. So smooth. I mean, what can you say about Steve and the staff? You know, my game isn't necessarily conventional. You know, that goes without saying. But you know, I think it's just, you know, no matter how you bowl, you know, you always have a chance. You know, if you feel like if you can believe in yourself, and you know, when I grew up, he's like, he's not going to be a good bowler, you know, and here I am. So, you know, it's just a testament to practice and loving the game, and you know, drinking a lot of alcohol, you know. I mean, it's a family show. I'm sorry. Sparkling water. No, it's a sponsor, but no, but yeah, my point, you know, it's just a thrill. I don't know what to say, but thank you all, and appreciate it. You guys are great. Thanks.
I remember commentating the Australian Open tournament in Melbourne a number of years ago, and Mr. Magic down there, John Sullivan. I know Australians are still watching this broadcast down there on YouTube, and the guy that beat him was Ken Watson, similar to you bowling against Francois Lavoie, the likes of. And I said to Ken when he bumped off John Sullivan in the championship of that match, I said, I bet you've never dreamed of beating John Sullivan for the Australian Open title. He said, actually, Steve, I dream of it every night. Very good, Dylan. Congratulations, top 4 here. Cortez Shank on the way home already, and we do thank everyone for that. What have we got here, Dana? The IRS. It's like the state government in New Mexico.
Don't you have any good
You don't talk about it too much. All right. Thank you. Well done, Dylan. A nice speech. Won't be your last.
Run the approach,
Hopefully on September the 15th, we have a mask burning party in the vacant lot next door.
That sounds lovely.
But we're still open. Emil, thank you very much. BowlStreamTV coverage, beautiful coverage. We're watching it in the bar on a big screen down there. And we've had a lot of people watching this week all over the world. Tons of hits today on the chat room. And Emil, you'll be back next year. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Gary Heron's going to have a great story in the Rio Rancho Observer next Sunday with some pictures, and he would like to interview some people now. If you're here, we're going to give out some checks in the bar. We've got some pizzas. Also want to thank not only my staff and, of course, Jeff Jones and the boys down the back, but I want to thank our volunteer this weekend, Becky Fisher. Thanks, Becky. You've done a great job. You've got an injured knee to prove it. Thanks, everyone. Have a safe trip home.
Good job. Thanks.
I love you guys, but I need one filled out.
That's a big form.
Well, you have to have the front one filled out, and the rest are just your information.
Do you have a couple of extra
Otherwise, I can take your check from you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. How about that, huh?
And thank you to Judy Tillery as well for some succinct comments. And we want you back next year to miss the cut again so you can do more TV with us.
I don't want to miss the cut anymore, mate. I missed it by by a couple of pins this year, and I'm still feeling hungover from it.
So there's Dylan. There's your winner, talking with the local media here, which is pretty cool. Man, Jim, how about that?
I'll tell you, you know what a performance. And if you didn't see the qualifying earlier in the week, you know, I was talking about Dennis Helmick and I standing back behind Dylan and watching him practice before his qualifying squad yesterday, and didn't have a chance to watch him bowl. You know, we were giving him props then. I said, this kid doesn't look very impressive, but where he was playing, he was using a dull urethane ball, playing up about 5, real straight, real accurate, making spares. And then late in the day, he was in there like he was here on the TV show, and he was in there about 15, 16, hooking at just a few boards, again, making spares. And I told Dennis, I said, you know, this kid's going to be tough if it comes down to a grind out. And he gets himself in the finals. I think he qualified 14th or 18th, somewhere right in the middle there. And in a bracket, it doesn't matter where you qualify as long as you're one of the top 32. And he did everything today he needed to do to win this championship. And bottom line is he made some tough spares. He won some tough matches. I think the only match he lost was to Francois early in the day, and then he kind of got reprieve in the later afternoon. But you know, what a performance! You got to give the kid credit. He beat a really big field, about a 200 entry field in this tournament. He overcame a lot of difficult conditions, and he handled himself with class. And you know, you just gotta give a champion credit. He did qualify 18th. I see that one. But I'm proud of him. I really am. I'm proud of him. I'm going to get down here in the broadcast here in a minute and go down, give him a handshake and a hug, and just tell him he earned it, because he certainly did.
I'm going to try to get Dylan here. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. All of the kind words, as always. You guys know, most of you know me through other channels, Bowl TV, for example. So you know how supportive or appreciative I am of your support. So thank you very much. It was an excellent honor to be here. Obviously, that was one of the best stepladder finals I've seen, and I've seen a lot at the professional level, and that one ranks right up there, to be quite honest with you, Jim.
And, you know, we don't need 260s to 250 games to prove anything. The best bowlers,
That's a great point.
Best bowlers in the world adapt to whatever's thrown out there. Somebody's got to win the tournament. Whether you're averaging 240 during the week or whether you're averaging 180 or 90 during the week, somebody's going to get 11 grand. And whoever conquers those conditions the best they can and beats everybody else, the other 200 bowlers, deserves to win. And he kept the ball in play. He didn't quit mentally. He made spares, and those were the keys to success. And the bottom line is he deserved the win.
All right, so Jim, what I'm going to do is I'm going to guesstimate that I'm going to get Dylan here.
Okay.
I want him to be on camera, so I'm going to try to get him framed up right here.
Okay.
You keep the headset on.
I'll just kind of do some ad-libbing here as you get him. He's talking to one of our local news reporters right now, and we'll get him down here on camera, and we'll ask him a few questions, because I talked to him during the break when we were re-oiling the lanes before the TV show, and he's a nice kid. You know, I asked him who he wanted to send a shout out to, and he said his bowling ball driller in the Phoenix area. You know, Mike and Brandy Calderon. You know, family. I hope he has family watching. He said he didn't think his family was tuning in, but they'd certainly be proud of the young man today. Certainly be proud of the young man. He deserved it. This one? And I can keep talking on this one. Number 3. Okay. Hopefully everybody can still hear me there. We're changing some headsets and some microphones here in the booth. We're trying to get Dylan over here on camera to do a little bit of interview. And Emil's getting him on the headset right now. We're gonna tease him and laugh with him a little bit and enjoy the heck out of Dylan, because he was quite fun for the show today. Dylan, can you hear me down there through the headset okay? Not yet. You're not supposed to hear me yet, Dylan. Perfect. Okay, good. How about now, Dylan? Can you hear us?
I can hear you loud and clear. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I hear my own voice. Yeah.
All right. Well, Dylan, you know, I'll tell you, I've sat in a lot of championship matches, and I bowled in a few, but I was excited and I was nervous for you sitting here. You know, I could feel your heart beating through my
Yeah.
shirt. That's how exciting it was.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
So first of
yeah.
all, on behalf of the pro bowlers, congratulations, because we know how difficult the condition was this week, and we stood back here and watched it a little bit in awe. I just have to say congratulations. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
That's a hell of a performance, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's
Neil, you got a question for him there.
answer.
He's probably got 10 questions for
I
you.
mean,
here.
I do, but I'm gonna keep it short for him because I know there's.
I can only answer 9, Emil.
I know there's a lot happening right now.
Let me ask the first one then.
Go
When you're regrouping here, Dylan, I know after they reran the lanes for the TV pair, I watched you throw 1, maybe 2 shots outside. Yesterday in qualifying, you played out at least the few games that I watched you.
Probably
you played mostly out with
a
urethane,
purple
is that
hammer
correct?
with quite a bit of surface, yeah, just to control. I mean, when they're flat and they're medium length, you want to control the back end. You want to control the lanes. So, you know, urethane's kind of unusual for me, being a lower rev bowler. Normally, you associate urethane with high rev, high speed, but I figured, you know, might be a good strategy. So I stuck with it.
Let me ask you this. Later in the qualifying block, did you move in where you finished today in there around third arrow?
I moved in. So the interesting thing is I moved in with my urethane ball, actually.
Okay.
Not really having any other game plan, or I didn't throw resin until the 7th game.
I was totally impressed because the game we finished on the burnt condition, you were playing deep, and you and I talked before the TV pair, and I said, you know, after rerunning the pair, are you going to move back out and try the gutter? And you told me you weren't sure. You weren't sure because you just came off at 2:30, and you're coming back to the TV pair, and I thought, man, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to watch, see if he plays the gutter or see if he plays 15.
And I was comfortable. I was, after shooting 230, I'm like, I'm comfortable where I'm at. I tried the outside, but in general, the outside seemed more just difficult. It just seemed flatter and just really, really touchy out there around 5, where I mean, 6, 7. But
well, you know, and the bottom line is you took the gamble. You felt comfortable, finished off that 230, and you stayed in there, you know, 10 to 15-ish, and gave it a little belly, not a lot, pretty straight compared to the other players. And it worked.
Game. That's my game.
It was successful for me.
I'm a spare. You know, I live on spares, so it's good in this tournament.
Dylan, just talk about briefly what was it like, both physically and mentally, to run the ladder to win this tournament?
It's a grind. I mean, it's a grind to begin with, but it's, you know, I don't know what I don't know what to say. I mean, beating a guy like Frankie, and I mean Cortez. I bowl with Cortez. I mean, I think it makes got to make it extra special, you know, knowing that, you know, and then beating Frankie twice. I mean, God, he bowled so good. I mean, you know, it's.
Well, and you know, watching him on TV this year, you know, he's just been in the last couple years. He's just been one of the top 3 bowlers in the country.
Yeah, I think he's up there. He's so, you know, he's always up there. Sure. He's always a threat, and
he's a nice guy. Have you
really
ever
nice
get a chance
guy.
to talk to Frankie? He is a great,
soft-spoken, nice guy. Yeah, yeah.
So, anything you want to send a shout out to? Anybody that's watching, possibly?
Everybody,
to your ball drillers
everybody
earlier?
back home. Yeah, you know, Mike and Brandy Calderon at B3 Performance. They're amazing people. They have a great facility in Tempe. Yeah, they drill my stuff. They've always been supportive of me. You know, my family, everybody at home. You know, at Strike Force, and my big bowling family, and back in Phoenix, and yeah, well, just everybody in the bowling circles. You know, it's going to be.
Yeah, well, we're all proud of you, man.
It's a thrill.
Sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
Sure.
Congratulations, Dylan.
Thanks, Emil.
Hell of a job, and look forward to seeing you next year.
I'm looking forward to being back.
Your picture's going to be on the wall.
All right. Well, it looks like they ran out of space. I don't know where they're going to put it.
It'll be there. It'll be there the rest of Tenpins life, right there. Every
rest
time
of
you come in, it'll be there.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope that's forever. You know, or pretty close to. You know.
All right, Dylan. We'll let you go. Handle
Thanks,
your
guys.
business and enjoy this win.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
I will. Thanks.
That is Dylan Taylor, ladies and gentlemen, the newest member of the New Mexico Champions Club. I'll give this back to Jim just so he can hear me one more time as we close this thing on out. Jim T. Can I call you that? Is that cool? Wrap this thing up in a bow for us so we can get on up out of here.
Well, again, we want to thank everybody that came out. What a great spectator event this week. A lot of prize money from a lot of sponsors. Mike working on the lanes, making the surprise mystery pattern. That's always fun for pros. You know, some people that like tough conditions can handle it. Others, you know, want to stay home. So it's okay. It's all right. But we can't express to you how good this tournament is. until you come out and experience it. We have a lot of pro-ams, a lot of sweepers going on, a lot of ways to make money, a lot of ways to spend money here this week. And to have players like Stu and Francois come out from the national tour just to show you kind of how special this tournament is. And I want to thank you guys for letting me sit here in the booth with you. It was my pleasure.
You're welcome.
If you need any help down the road, you know I'm available. Retirement gets kind of boring here, so.
I appreciate you. Great work. Big thanks to Jim. Big thanks, obviously, to Steve Mackie. He's been fantastic for many years, running as a proprietor of this place. Obviously, his wife, Dana Miller Mackie, as well. The numerous competitors and champions of this event. For being my first time, I certainly understand in person, finally, seeing why it is such the event that it is. A lot goes into it. And want to thank some of those people. For example, Petrie Buick GMC and Kia, Principal Financial Group, Miller High Life, Shamrock Foods, Cubic AMF, Century Bank, Jorgensen Orthodontics, and all of the 40 sponsors, local and national, that help support this great event. Dylan Taylor, your 2021 17th Annual New Mexico Open champion. Man, you come back from COVID, and what a final match that we had from that. Again, want to thank all of you watching on BowlStreamTV this week. Thank you so much. I'll be in touch, of course, with what are the next events. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already to BowlStreamTV. So for Jim Tillery, Steve Mackie, Dana Miller Mackie, and, of course, Mike Miller, Jim mentioned him, creating this pattern and the love of the game that he certainly still has, a national champion, of course. It showed in this pattern. Congrats to all the other finalists, Francois Lavoie, Cortez Shank, and, Matthew Zweig. My name is Emil Williams Jr. Until next time, we say so long for now. This has been a presentation of the 17th Annual New Mexico Open. You watched it live only on BowlStream TV. Good night.